Good morning. It's Monday, January 29th. Thanks for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Dr. Amy Tan, Dean of HCC's English and Communications, and I'm joined today by Dr. Nicholas Cox, the History Department Chair. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. It's good to see you again.
You too. How did you like the weather driving in this morning?
Oh, it's actually beautiful when it's no clouds and sunshine. It's colder again, which is okay, but it's sunny.
Yeah, I'm always fine with the cold because I know it's going to be 85 soon enough.
That's
Well,
right. As
thanks for
long as it's
joining
not
me.
raining, I'm happy too.
Exactly, right? We drive a little better when the sun is shining. So, well, I'm happy you're joining me, and you are going to tell everyone where they can find us. Is that right?
That's right. This show, we are live on the Houston Community College District Facebook page and YouTube. We're also on X, LinkedIn, and on HCCTV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and thanks for joining us on our Mental Health Monday. We're happy to welcome the return of a local psychotherapist to talk about mental wellness, Dr. Quinella Minix, also known as Dr. Q. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again. Good to see you
Well,
guys.
it's always great to have you, and we'll be right with you because Dr. Cox is going to be interviewing you. And first, we have another student success story who was just introduced to the Board of Trustees last week, Saja Sosa, electrical engineer, Aggreko, and a former HCC student. Welcome to the show, Saja.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining us early this morning, and congrats on being selected as a student success story that was showcased for the Board of Trustees.
Thank you.
Did you get to go to the board meeting?
I did.
Yeah,
It was really nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wonderful. I have to tell you, as when faculty and staff, when we attend the board meetings, it's our favorite part to see our students recognized. So, before we get into your many accomplishments, tell us why you chose to come to Houston Community College.
I chose to go to HCC originally because it worked with my schedule at the time. I was working as a teacher in pre-K, and I was a full-time teacher. So I balanced my work and my school, and HCC offered classes at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., or even during my lunch break as well. So it worked out.
That's really good to hear. We're always wanting to know how we can better support our students because we know many of our students work. And also, little known fact, I also taught pre-K. It's a great way to get working, right?
Yes, sure it is.
So you worked while you attended classes. How did you manage that work-study balance?
I stayed at school a lot. After classes, I stayed in the library. I studied up to like midnight, honestly, sometimes. And I would go to work. I would work during, if I don't have classes, sometimes your classes fall only on Monday and Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. So Friday, you typically don't have a class. So Friday would be my heavy load day. So I would do all of my homework, so all of my work that day and prepare for the week.
So lots of time management skills.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you were working and studying, were you also prioritizing sleep? How did that work for you?
Yes, of course. Especially before exams. You have to get your 7 hours in. You have to refresh your mind. You can't stay tired because that's not going to help you. Because at that point you're reading the same page 5 times and you don't know what you're reading. But yes, of course, I always kept a schedule and made sure that I get my rest and I get everything in my school, my deadlines. I meet all of the deadlines and continue working.
So you must be also a very organized person.
A little bit, yes.
I do remember those days, and I tell my kids still, I can get through anything in 14 weeks.
Yeah.
Just cross off the week, just make sure you get it done. Well, tell us about your degrees, because I know that you have more than one.
Yes, I got a degree in Associates in Arts at HCC. When I originally joined HCC, I wanted to become a computer engineer, but then I took a circuit analysis class, and I wanted to be an electrical engineer because I loved that class. So I took more classes required for that degree at HCC, which gave me an associate in science. And then after that, I transferred to UT Tyler, and I completed my degree there and graduated with a bachelor's in electrical engineering.
That is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So what was it about the class that made you want to change your major?
The class was mostly like hands-on. It was smaller. I was interacting with the professor more. The professor was amazing. I want to give him a shout out. His name is Jerong Shea, Dr. Jerong. He's amazing. He taught the class really good. He explained because he has a lot of field experience, and he explained how it is becoming an engineer out there. And that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do.
It's just wonderful to hear that. We know that that faculty can have an impact on students like that, and so it's really wonderful to hear your story and to give him a shout out. And so also I know that that electrical engineering or the field of engineering is not traditionally female centered. How did you feel about that? And in many ways, you are stepping forward and sort of being a pioneer.
Yes, we unfortunately started with a lot of females in the major of electrical engineering. We ended up with only 5 females throughout the whole school year at the end of it because of how that field is just male kind of oriented, if that makes sense. Right now in my company, I'm the only female electrical engineer in the company, in the whole company, in this worldwide company. So it's
Wow.
we want more female engineers, that's for sure, because when you walk in anywhere, nobody expects you to be an engineer, which is kind of funny. But then when you show them what you know, they kind of take a step back and they realize what you know. That's one of the reasons why I joined SWE. I was a vice president for SWE. I joined a lot of organizations in HCC and UT Tyler because I wanted to show little girls, because we used to stop at elementary, middle school. I want to show the little girls like it's possible. You can do it. If you that's what you want to aim for, go for it.
It's just wonderful to hear you say that. And, kudos to you for stepping in and not being discouraged and, pushing and continuing to persevering to do what you want to do and to paving the way and creating space for other women who are going to join you in those fields. Tell us more about your work and some of the things you've accomplished within the 5 years that you've been with that company.
Yeah, I started at Aggreko as a field engineer, which was actually Dr. Jerong's opinion too. He before I left his class the last couple of days or so, he told me, he's like, if you want to experience, if you truly want to take an advice, he told me start as a field engineer. I was like, okay, let me try that. So that's what I applied for. I started as a field engineer for Aggreko for 2 years. And then the 2 years following, I became certified high voltage engineer as a field engineer as well, which is difficult. It takes 6 months of classes and learning to become that. And after that, I became a design electrical engineer. And I am a design electrical engineer right now, and I am responsible for the whole utility section of the company worldwide. So any projects you get with ERCOT, Entergy, anybody, my name is on it.
That's incredible. And so tell us just a little bit, what's it like being in the field?
It's difficult. It's hard, but if I can make it, anybody can make it. That's what I tell people. But yes, that's where it comes in, where when they see a female stepping in, they normally kind of brush it off a little bit in the field, because in the field it's all male workers. You're working with male technicians, male other engineers from the other company. But when you step in, they think either you're HR or you're an accountant, or the typical kind of positions for a woman to be in the world, and then when I step in and kind of speak up, they realize what my profession is. So it's actually a joy to do that for me. It's kind of nice to prove everybody wrong when you walk into a circle. But I've had instance where I had 24 male engineers in front of me, and I'm the only engineer that have to explain what we're doing in the whole project. And it's a kind of like a, I don't know, if it's like I feel proud, power, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. You should feel proud. You
Yeah.
should absolutely feel proud and just keep doing what you're doing. Game changer, student success. HCC is so proud of everything that you've accomplished. And
Thank you.
before we say goodbye, I want to just note the A-Leaf, that UT Tyler program is 100% at A-Leaf. So did you do your all 4 years at A-Leaf?
Yes, ma'am, I did. That's where I took all of my classes.
So that's an excellent feature of that program, that our students, they don't have to leave Houston and they can still get that engineering degree with excellent faculty and go on to be wonderful pioneers and student success stories. So thank you so much, Saja Sosa, electrical engineer for Aggreko and former HC student. We're going to have all your information on our post after the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
Take care, and we'll see you again sometime. Moving on to Nick.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Tan and Ms. Sosa. That was a great opportunity to hear about your success story. Really inspiring. Thank you. But now we're going to move on to Dr. Quinella Minix, Dr. Q, from Elite Performance Coach, a psychotherapist, and our Mental Health Monday guest. Dr. Q, welcome back to the show.
Hi, nice to have me back. Thanks for having me back, Dr. Cox.
Well, let's start with your definition of mental well-being. What does that mean for you as a psychotherapist when someone has, good mental well-being?
Mental well-being is more of a holistic way of looking at our mental and emotional state. It is being well within the workplace. It's being well emotionally, being resilient emotionally, have a positive self-perception, and just maintaining healthy relationships, satisfying relationships.
Well, can you tell us some of the factors that affect a client or a person's mental well-being? What should we be looking for?
First, we should be looking for if they're having some of the issues with the thought, the cognitive. Like sometimes when we're stressed out, you'll see a high stress level. You'll see where people who are not emotionally balanced, like their emotional well-being is not okay, as you'll see actually having memory loss. Sometimes at work, they'll say, oh, I forgot that. They'll start having trouble within their relationships, and they're not working out. They're not doing things to keep the balance within their lives. And their self-perception is sometimes, their self-esteem sometimes, and self-worth is questioned. They start having issues in the workplace.
Yeah, I know at work and out in the larger culture, there was a lot of talk about burnout and fatigue, especially during the COVID moment, right? Where a lot of people felt, these factors that affect your mental health can really alter your personality and your performance. And it seems that, centering your mental health and making positive changes can have a positive impact on all those areas. Is that what you do with your clients?
Yes, I like to focus on mental well-being versus mental health. Mental health, we look at more of the diagnosable and looking at the things that more of the psychological and diagnosing and treatment of a disorder versus mental well-being. How can we prevent you from actually having those disorders? How can we help you to have a healthy life? More of a holistic approach. I take that approach.
No, that's a really valuable distinction that hadn't occurred to me. I guess I probably, like a lot of people, use mental health and mental well-being kind of interchangeably. But I think the idea of just maintaining well-being is different than addressing an acute or diagnosable disorder, right? What are some ways that people can maximize their mental well-being?
So like positive self-care, like taking time to spend time with yourself, to be okay with you, as working out, eating healthy, meditating, some positive self-care, just cultivating your social connections, making sure that you keep up with friends and family and get out and join different organizations, become social, build an emotional resilience, build a resilience, like at work, oftentimes, this is where we spend the bulk of our time. And a lot of our emotional issues are surrounded around work, the stress, building that resilience and saying, okay, let me put some boundaries in place. Let me do some things that will promote my healthy emotional well-being. And then that just having that work-life balance is important. And the biggest thing is just having that good professional support. And when I say professional support, find a mentor. A lot of times people don't think about it, but mental well-being is having people to surround yourself with a whole team of people to make sure you stay healthy.
Having someone that can provide you support, maybe that can help you with your workload, put things in context so you don't, make them larger than they are, that sort of thing.
Yes, exactly. Because a lot of times what you find when you have a professional, you don't even think about it. But when you have a professional mentor, you can bounce things off of them that sometimes what you're processing isn't actually what it is. And through their experience, they can actually help you to, just walk through different things and different scenarios, and so that you don't get so stressed about things, and give you some tips.
One of the things I do is write a little bit about my day. And then when I look back at things I thought were enormous problems months or years ago, I realized that I was wrong, that they were not worth the stress. And I think having friends or mentors provide you that almost real-time reality check is also enormously useful.
It is. And when you think about emotional resilience, how many of us actually think about what that means? Being able to truly say, okay, is this what this really is? And a lot of times, I say, it's really not about you. Let's look at what it's about. Most people come in and they have issues, like someone may walk in and not speak to you that day. And a lot of times emotionally, we take that on as something negative. And that's not necessarily what it is. That person may have just got some rough news, or they may have had a flat tire, or somebody may have cut them off. And so it's just those kinds of things, that emotional resilience is just being able to bounce back from things.
Well, I understand you're also a sports performance coach with a focus on athletes' mental well-being. And, I've observed in the past couple of years that younger athletes are particularly taking space to protect their mental well-being. And, we saw this with Simone Biles and Naomi Osaka and others just stepping aside from elite contests. Is there a generational shift, particularly with athletes, away from the kind of win at all costs mentality versus the I need to take care of my mental health first?
Yes, and that is a difference. I think that this new generation is like, what? Is this really that important? And their values and their systems, the way that they think, is very different. We will work hard. The generation I'm in, work hard. You want to make sure you're getting everything in. You want to make sure. This generation is like, no, I need a work-life balance. I need to take care of me, because if I don't take care of me, I'm not well. That is a huge shift. And it's a healthy shift for them. They worry about their mental well-being versus mental health. That makes sense.
Right. No, I think that definitely seems to be a bit of a generational shift in a separate context, not in sports, but I had an acquaintance who was a journalist, and she worked on a paper in Arlington, Texas, and then at the Washington Post, and then at the New York Times. And she had children and she had some family stuff going on. And the attitude of the older generation at the Times was, we don't want to hear about it. You have work to do. And so she walked away. And I think they were absolutely stunned that a young, promising early career journalist would just decide the New York Times was not the end of the career for her, right? And I see that with sports, with employment in all sectors. What are some things that your experience as a sports wellness and sports mental well-being coach contribute to this organization, PsyFit? Can you talk a little bit about PsyFit?
So PsyFit is a nonprofit I created because a lot of athletes don't have the money. They don't have the funds to receive the counseling and the mental well-being. And so it started just to start helping with a lot of professional athletes, and they didn't have insurance. So I actually started the counseling and just ways that I could help support them. And it just morphed and morphed into concussions and all those things. But with all of that, when you're mentally well, a lot of things, even the brain, you have better brain health. And so that's what PsyFit is really about. healing the body one brain at a time.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned concussions, of course, there's this enormous concern the past several years about repetitive trauma, head injuries, concussions, football, boxing, other sports. No, that's great. So I suppose what we'll do is we'll have more information about your mental health coaching, mental wellness coaching, and your SciFit organization in our notes after the show. But thank you so much for taking time today to talk to our students and employees about what you do. It was a great Mental Health Monday interview. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Dr. Cox and Dr. Tan. Thank you guys for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you both. Moving on, we do have some news and announcements to get to, and we want to start off with big congrats to our own Dr. Ford Fisher, who has been named our official chancellor. So it's official. Dr. Margaret Ford Fisher has been appointed HCC's permanent chancellor, having been voted in during last week's board meeting. She says she welcomes the opportunity to work with HCC's outstanding faculty and staff to help effect positive change in the lives of students in the community. She adds, quote, "My commitment to HCC and our students is as strong today as it was when I began in 1985. I am proud of HCC's legacy and excited about its future," end quote. We at HCC congratulate Dr. Ford Fisher and look forward to, as she says, keeping us soaring in the days and years to come. And so, of course, I want to offer my personal congratulations to Dr. Ford Fisher. She does have, many of us have had an opportunity to work with her and admire her and are thrilled for this opportunity. And I know you probably also have something to say about that, Nick.
Yeah, I just find it absolutely remarkable to think that she has been here with us since 1985. That is a tremendous accomplishment. Just last Friday, we had the service awards for people that had been here 10, 20, 50 years. And, don't ask me what I was doing in 1985. Nobody needs to know. I think I might have been in kindergarten.
We don't want to talk about that.
So we also have a drama open call. It's an opportunity for students to shine, students who are interested in showcasing their talents on stage and backstage at HCC Drama's productions at Central, Southwest, and Northwest can attend this open call. It's for all HCC students. No experience is necessary. It'll be at the HCC Southwest College Stafford Campus Fine Arts Center on Tuesday, January 30th from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. You can check our post after the show for more information.
Excellent. And we have adult CPR and pediatric first aid community learning. HCC's community learning program will host these in-person sessions that include CPR and non-healthcare AED on 3 consecutive Wednesdays in February. Classes are just $45 and students are required to attend all 3. That will be Wednesdays, February 7th, February 14th, and February 21st at the Marshall Center for Advanced Careers. Check our post after the show for more info, and I feel like everyone needs to know how to work an AED.
Good advice. You could save a life. Well, we've got another arts event coming up. This one is called Snackwork. It is a faculty exhibit at the West Loop Gallery. It features artwork of several faculty members from across the system, including that of Melinda Laszcynski. This is open until March 1st. It's at the HCC Southwest College's West Loop Campus Arts Gallery. There will be a reception there on Thursday, February 8th from 6 to 8 p.m., but you can see the art all the way through March 1st. It's free, there's no registration necessary, and everyone is welcome. Check our posts after the show for more information.
And recipes for success. We have virtual workshops. HCC's academic success centers will host these virtual workshops to provide space to learn more about practicing study strategies, forming helpful academic habits, and more. Check our post after the show to find out dates and times of the workshops and to learn more about the academic success centers.
All right, last announcement. I think it's just a reminder to everyone out there that spring semester has begun. Regular term is in week 3, but second start is right around the corner. So you can still register for classes that start in February or even in our second 8-week session in March. Check our hcc.edu/apply for information. But remember, we've got classes that meet on campus. We have classes that meet online anytime, asynchronously. We have classes online on a schedule with virtual meetings. And we have hybrid classes and hybrid labs that try to bring the best of both worlds together in person and online. I really, really, really would love it if students enrolled in some of these Second Start classes, because the worst thing to do as a department chair is cancel small classes. So you guys out there, if you haven't enrolled in Second Start yet, start doing it. Fill those classes up so they make.
Fill the classes up. That's right. Thanks so much for joining me again today, Nick.
A lot of fun.
And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Coming up, we look forward to the week ahead with Good Works Wednesday, featuring a former HCC communication director who's now working at the Fort Bend Human Needs Ministry. And for Film Friday, we'll welcome the Alamo Draft House, one of the first to bring us the cinema, dining, and drinking experience. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.